Hello everyone and welcome back my dear students to the offline video series of biology of class 6. So as you know that we are studying the lesson habitat and adaptations. In our previous parts of this lesson we have studied about what do you mean by habitats, what do you mean by adaptations and which are the different types of habitats. So the types of habitats are terrestrial habitats, aquatic habitats and aerial habitats. So in our previous part of offline videos, we have studied about these three types of habitats. After that, in that same part, we have studied about some adaptations in aquatic plants. That means adaptations in aquatic habitat about plants. We have studied the examples of Vallisneria and water lily. These are the two aquatic plants and we have seen some adaptations in them according to the suitable environment in their surrounding. Now in this part, we are going to study about the adaptations of aquatic animals, mainly fish. There are some adaptations and changes in the body of fish externally which helps them to live into that particular environment and which helps them to get settled down according to the conditions in their surroundings. Fish is one of the most common type of aquatic animal which is found in both freshwater bodies like river, lakes, pond, etc. and in marine water bodies like sea and ocean. So let us study about some of the important adaptations in fish in order to get settled down according to the natural conditions in the surrounding. So the first type of adaptation in fishes is streamline body shape. In this adaptation, the shape of the body of the fish is tapering at both the ends and such type of shape is known as streamline shape. These shape have less resistance towards the forward movement of the fish. Next type of adaptation is scales covered throughout the body. Scales are considered as an exoskeleton of the fishes. The entire body of a fish is covered with the waterproof scales and that is why it is considered as the exoskeleton of body of fishes. These scales protects the body of the fish from any external threat or ill effects in the water. Next type of adaptation is air bladder, which is also known as swim bladder. It helps the fish to move in upward and downward direction. That is, it helps the fish to swim and to sink in the water by increasing and decreasing the amount of gas into the air bladder. Next adaptation in fishes is gills. Gills are considered as the respiratory organs effectively only in water. These gills are present on the either sides of throats and they are covered with gill covers. For respiration, water is taken in through mouth and given out through gill chambers. The oxygen which is present into the air is being dissolved into the water and later carbon dioxide is released from the gill filament. Beside fishes, whales and some other animals like crocodiles, duck are some of the animals which are considered under these adaptations. Whale is considered as the largest marine mammal. Its huge body is also an example for streamline body shape. Their legs are modified into the flippers so that they can swim and move or kick the water into the backward direction. These wells has to come out periodically on the surface of the water to breathe the atmospheric air into their lungs.
Living underwater requires animals to develop certain new traits and modify some body parts. An organism faces following challenges while living underwater. The organisms should swim faster as there is always danger of predator. While swimming, there is always resistance from water, so organisms should be strong. Oxygen is not available in abundance as compared to open areas, so they should have some mechanism to absorb oxygen from water. It is easy to get infected by microbes in water, thus an organism should have some mechanism to avoid getting a wound. While fast swimming, it is hard to change direction, thus organisms should have some way which can assist them in changing direction. We know that fish is an aquatic animal. Let's see how fishes have overcome these challenges. Fishes have developed fins which help them swim fast. The head, trunk and tail of a fish merge to form a streamlined shape. The streamlined body helps in reducing water resistance. Changing direction while fast swimming is essential, otherwise fish will collide with rocks. Fishes have strong tail which acts as rudder to change direction and keep its body balanced in water. Fish have developed an organ called gills. Gills absorb oxygen dissolved in water. These organs cannot absorb oxygen from open air, and thus when a fish is brought outside of water, it suffocates and dies. Most of the fish might have danger of getting wounded from stones or from fights with bigger fish. Fishes have slippery scales all over the body which prevent it.
The next topic which we are going to study is adaptations in desert habitat. Desert is considered as one of the most hottest and dry habitat. One of the most common and well-known example among the animals which survive in desert region is camel. Camel is considered as the sheep of the desert. There are certain adaptations in its body, changes in its body which helps it to survive in such hot and dry area. So let us study about some of the most important adaptations in camels in desert habitat. So first of all, we are going to study about some physical features of camel. The foot of the camel is large with a pad-like sole which gives the facility of walking on slippery sand and does not sink into it. The camel has long legs and can run on sand quite fast. Long feet of the camel also keeps the body away from the hot sand. The hump of the camel is full of fats which serves as the reserved food. The camel can remain without food for several days, and during that period the fat in the humps serves as the energy to that camel. This adaptation of camel for scanty or no vegetation for long distance at a stretch. The eyes of the camel are provided with long eyelashes. This feature protects the eyes of the camel from the harsh sun rays of the sun in deserts. Its nostrils remain closed so that sand cannot enter inside. It has thick lips which enables it to eat the cactus. The next adaptation is water saving method in camels. Little and thick urine. When the deprived of water, the camel passes out very thick and very little urine. The dung passes out is very dry. The camel can tolerate high outside temperature. The temperature between 40 degree to 45 degree Celsius. Its own body temperature can go up to 41 to 42 degrees Celsius, and therefore there is need to perspire is reduced. Certain amount of moisture is always lost due to the evaporation in the respiratory passages during breathing. Slower the rate of the breathing, lesser the loss of water, and as a result, water vapor in the air breathed out. The camel's muscle can withstand the storage of water and can shrink considerably. Once the water is available, the camel can drink sufficient water and the muscles swell up. While starving, the food is oxidized to get energy as well as water in the body. The next factor is heat tolerance in camels. The camel can rise its body temperature up to 4 to 5 degrees Celsius higher than the normal body temperature when it is hotter outside, with no harmful effects on its body, and in the process saves water that could have been lost. There are many other desert animals such as desert rat, snakes, etc. Mostly they hide into the burrows to avoid the day heat and come out in the night to search the food. Cactus are well-known examples of desert plants. Cactus are the plants that store the water in their fleshy tissues and depend on this stored water for photosynthesis. These plants are adapted to hot and dry conditions in several ways. The leaves of cactus are reduced and are in the form of spines. They help in reducing the loss of water from the leaves through transpiration. The green leaf-like structures which is shown in the picture is nothing but its stem. Photosynthesis is carried out by the thick green stem. The stem is also covered with the thin waxy layer which helps to retain the loss of water. Cactus have long roots which go deep down into the soil for absorption of water.
Surviving in desert required lot of changes in body of a normal animals. Following are few challenges an organism faces in desert habitat. In deserts, there is always shortage of water and food. During daytime, temperature always stays high. Most of the time, wind carries sand particles with it. Walking is tough as legs get buried in the sand. In this video, we will see how camels have adapted to harsh environment of desert. Camel has long legs which keep body away from the hot sand in the desert. This way camels are adapted to high temperature. A camel can drink large amount of water and store it in the body. It passes small amount of urine and thus preserves water in body. Camel's dung is dry. Camel does not lose water by sweating. All these traits camel save lot of water. On the back of camel, there is a hump which acts as fat storage. In case of emergency, camels break down stored fat for nourishment. This way camels overcomes the problem of food shortage. A camel has large and flat padded feet which help it to walk easily on soft sand. Camel is also called the ship of the desert. Camel has long eyelashes and hairs to protect its eyes and ears from the blowing dust. It can also keep its nostrils closed to avoid dust. These modifications keep camel protected from sandy wind.
Here is an activity for you to perform. Take one green leafy potted plant and one small potted cactus plant. Cover any shoot of each of the plant with a plastic sheet. Secure it with a thread to the base of the shoot. Leave it for an hour or more in the sunlight. Observe and tell which of the plant contain more water droplets on the inner surface of the plastic sheets and why. What do you infer from these experiments?